2 weeks ago, I launched a community save for anyone and everyone watching the content on this channel. The challenge is to take Mercedes back to glory, and today I'm going to be updating you all on how my save has been going, but I'm also going to be updating you on a few other people's, and I've got a couple of friends here to join me. I'm joined by two of our channel members, Ben, also known as Pulse Potato, and Callum. Ben and Callum, welcome to the show. Ben, how excited are you to be part of a video?
It was my dream to be on an hour-and-a-half YouTube video, and I'm just thank you for having me.
No worries, welcome along. And Callum, welcome to the show. You were my first ever member, so I wasn't going to let you miss out on this one.
Thanks. I'm always wanted to be on a video of yours, so yeah, let's see.
It should be a good fun video. So we're going to dive into our own saves. We're going to explain a few different pieces. I know you both got some pictures to hand and some notes. Ben's made a full dossier, Ferrari 2007 sort of in the hands of McLaren style. There's so much detail in it. It's ridiculous. And we're going to be rating our seasons. We're going to be explaining how we got on. We're going to discuss some other people's saves that have been submitted in the community save section of the Discord channel. If you're not involved in the Discord, get involved. That's the plug for it. And we'll also discuss the driver market, because obviously we have to replace Lewis Hamilton, who is signing for Ferrari at the start of the save. So Ben, if we can start with you, can you rate your season out of 10 for me?
I've given it an 8 out of 10, only because we could have won more. I feel like could have done more upgrades, even though our upgrades were successful, most of them. But we only won 2 races, and Red Bull won 20. We had no chance for the constructors. It just wasn't very good. I feel like the upgrades could have worked more, in my opinion. So that's why I've given it an 8 out of 10.
I would give mine an 8 out of 10 as well. I won a few races, but the second half of the season, my development tailed off. So I could definitely have done better in that respect. Callum, how would you rate your season?
Probably a 10 out of 10. I won both championships. Probably could have won more than 17, but Russell decided that he didn't want to finish about 6.
Oh, good old George Russell bottling it when he has the chance to win, eh? Some things never change. Obviously, we say that in jest. We love George Russell here. I think he's a fantastic driver. I don't understand some of the hate that he gets. It's strange, but we'll move on from that. So Ben, tell us a little bit more about how you got on. I know you had a bit of a miracle win early on in the season. So tell us about your first podium, your first win, and some of your best results.
Well, the first podium was technically a win in Miami, which was very unexpected, as on the second to last lap, Max Verstappen had a mechanical failure, and I was P2 with Hamilton. And then Perez was on old tyres, so he zoomed down on the last lap on that straight and managed to get him into the final corner and pick up the win. And I was very happy because he showed good determination to pick up his first win since Jeddah in 2021.
Excellent. And tell me about the rest of the season. Obviously, you said you got only a couple of wins, and how many podiums did you get?
I think I got 7 podiums, but they were a bit, we could have got more. I feel like we kind of started slacking towards the end. Obviously, we had to work on our research, but it felt like the other teams. I don't really know what to say. It's just we felt pressured to keep on our podium streak.
Talk to me about the development. I know you've made quite a few notes about your development strategy.
Yeah, I have. We were just trying many different upgrades: side pod, suspension, underfloor. A lot of it unfortunately didn't work, didn't help us. But then we managed to crack down on the side pods, which did help us in the low speed. So that helped us around Monaco and other tracks, So some development worked, but some didn't, basically. So it's a bit 50-50.
It sounds like it's true to life there, in the fact that it's a bit of a lucky dip at the moment with developments in real life. We've seen how Red Bull have sort of fallen off their perch at the top of the sort of the pace tree, if you will, and McLaren have caught up and surpassed them. Ferrari sometimes look quick, Mercedes sometimes look quick. So sometimes I feel on the game it's a little bit too easy to sort of game the development, if that makes sense, for want of a better phrase. You can just sort of bang on loads of upgrades really quickly, and Callum and I will be able to attest to this, and it just transforms your car in a way that almost isn't realistic. But tell us, where did you finish? You said you finished second in the Constructors' Championship. Where did
second? Lewis Hamilton picked up P3 in the championship, and George Russell managed to climb his way into P5 just ahead of Lando. And George, he was slacking at the start, I admit. He wasn't doing as well as I expected, picking up occasional P6s and 7s, while Hamilton was obviously won Miami, got a few podiums. But then it seemed we had the upgrades coming, and George found his flow with the car and managed to start picking up some podiums. And he won in Belgium, which was very shocking, even though Lewis crashed out of that race. Yeah, Lewis crashed out of that race and handed the win to George. So that was... I'm not too mad about that, but, win's a win.
He was overweight, wasn't he, on this one? He wasn't...
Yeah.
He wasn't going to get disqualified. Excellent.
Ate a bunch of pizza.
Love that pizza. Anything else you'd like to mention about your save before I chat about mine and then we move on to Callum's?
Red Bull was the dominant car, but there was no catching them by the time we reached summer break. They had already cleared off in the championship. So we'd started working on next season. That's all I have to say.
Fair enough. So from my point of view, I had to take a second attempt at this. So I struggled in the first one. I was fighting RB, VCarb, more than anybody else, and I was struggling to beat them. So I just wasn't aggressive enough with my development. So it took me until Belgium to score a podium in that save. So I restarted before Zandvoort because the board had lost confidence and I knew I was going to get sacked. So I used a Nero Back's development guide to help me sort of start the season a bit more strongly. So I was immediately in the lead battle at Bahrain, which was great. Eventually got a P4. Lewis actually didn't score in the first two races. He spun out in Bahrain, crashed in Jeddah. We should have won in Australia. And then there's definitely a bug. I don't know if any of you two have come across this, but if you simulate a wet race, it gives you the most random result. And it gave me a P1 for George Russell at Suzuka.
I didn't get many wet races, to be fair.
I did, and I won by 2 minutes.
Nice. It's clearly bugged. This win was by 63 seconds. It's just honestly. So
yeah, and you mentioned how if Lewis was he had the enthusiastic thing, he would win most of the time. And that did happen to me.
It's just cracked. The mentality hub boosts for stats are incredible. They boost and nerf everybody's stats. So if you're not doing well, it's just a downward spiral. You basically need a bit of luck to get yourself out of it.
Pretty much.
But what isn't based on luck is not having enough fuel to finish the race. I was about to win in China and George ran out of fuel. Literally, his nose was on the line. It was ridiculous. It handed the win back to Verstappen, which is annoying. But we lost to P1 with Lewis in the Miami sprint for the same reason, although he did cross the line in second and George won the sprint. But we got Lewis's first win in Miami. Then he went on a bit of a winning spree. He won in Canada, in Austria, and in Imola. Then he dominated in Silverstone, which was fantastic. He took the lead at the start, which was incredible. He just blitzed the Ferrari off the line. As I said earlier, we dipped our development second half of the season, and we could have really caught Verstappen for the championship, but we didn't. We picked up a couple of wins in sprints in Texas and Brazil, and then we eventually finished second in the championship with Lewis, and I think George finished 5th or 6th. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head here. I was definitely outdeveloped by Red Bull after the summer break, which was a shame, but we finished second in the constructors as well. So I achieved my objectives, which is good, but I could certainly have done better, considering we led the Constructors' Championship from Spain onwards until about Texas, which was disappointing. But yeah, I definitely could have done a bit better. So yeah, that's some of my sort of highlights. Callum, tell us how you got on. I believe you had to restart yours as well, but I think you've also gone and done something that nobody else, as far as I know, has actually achieved.
Yes, I had to restart because I tried to go for a Red Bull strat, be rapid in the straights. Well, I didn't finish Bahrain or Saudi, and I didn't even get in the top 6 at Britain, and they wanted to sack me. So, on my second one, I just did the same as you. I used Nero backs, and I got P4 in Bahrain and Saudi, and I won like 10 in a row. So, yeah.
The Mercedes dominance returns.
Yeah.
Love it. And so I'm guessing you went on to win the World Championship?
Yes, I managed to win both by Qatar.
Nice. And which driver was your champion?
Well, it was going to be Russell, but a bit of bias came into it, and I always put "don't fight teammate," so Hamilton ended up winning it.
Oh, the George stands are going to be sending in so many emails now about sabotage. So, Callum, well done on that. Obviously, you must be very pleased with the World Championship.
Yes, I am. I wasn't aiming for the championship, but Elite said that he was going to win it, so I had to do no research and try and challenge him for that championship.
Nice. Nothing like a good bit of competition. So let's touch on a few other people's progress. Let's have a look at Justin's. So he picked up his first double podium. Was it Shanghai? I can't actually tell from his picture where he's picked up that podium, and he's not said. So if you're watching the video and you can tell me where that was, then please do. Then he picked up a win with Hamilton, which I believe is it looks like it's in Miami. And then he's got a lap on everybody at another circuit. He's not mentioned where these are, so I can hardly tell. And then there was another strategy that he pulled off, gambling late to pit off of Inters for slicks with 4 laps to go and winning the race at the final corner. Very nice indeed. But it wasn't enough for him to win the World Championship. Max Verstappen winning with 556 points, and he finished second by just under 40 points to Red Bull. Let's have a look at Elite Silver, who inspired a few of us to restart because of the Nero Backs video. So he's got a win in Shanghai. I can definitely tell you that. And then he's got another victory with George Russell in Miami. And then a 1-2, which I can't actually see where that is. He's ended up winning the Constructors' Championship by a very handsome margin. And the thing that stands out here to me is it's Mercedes with 836 points, Ferrari 564, McLaren 548, and Red Bull 500. Obviously, that's a lot of points scored, isn't it, Ben? But how surprised are you to see that Red Bull were actually down the bottom of that 4?
Well, considering what happened in my career, I don't know what happened to them. How are they P4? Because normally Verstappen's taking all the wins.
Normally.
So I guess, yeah, Elite's probably done some good upgrades and managed to, beat them many times. So fair play to him.
And clearly Perez was washed.
Yeah, as usual.
As usual. Some things never change. And so for Elite Silver, he's managed to win the Drivers' Championship with George Russell before Lewis Hamilton departs for Ferrari. That was a victory margin for George of 26 points. So precisely 1 race victory for Lewis that he missed out on there. We're going to touch on Optics now, another of our channel members. And he sent me a Ben-style dossier with the Constructors' Championships, the Drivers' Championship in full. So Optics has managed to win 5 races and a sprint win with George Russell. He's picked up 13 podiums apiece for both drivers, although that doesn't quite match Elite's total of 14 each for his drivers. Max Verstappen winning the World Championship for Optics as Red Bull win the Constructors. But Mercedes scoring 697 points, which is a a very impressive total for second place. He picked up his first podium in Suzuka, one in China, and he got a 1-2 in Monaco, which is pretty good. There's a few other bits and pieces that he's given me some information about, which we'll touch on in a moment. And another one of our channel members, Jermat, he said he got 3 podiums, 6 fourth places, and 9 fifth place finishes. So yeah, he did all right there. Not getting the race win that we all wanted in that first season, but I suppose there's still season 2 to come, and we can all use the Nerobax video, can't we?
Yes, and I will certainly be using it.
Making liberal use of that video. Now, obviously, one of the key things that we all had to figure out for season 1 was, how do we replace Lewis Hamilton? Who do we replace him with? So if I have a look, well, I think I've got it all noted down. So Jermat used Alex Albon, or he's picked up Alex Albon, and I believe Elite Silver has picked up Charles Leclerc. So Ferrari will have an all-new lineup. They should do in season 2. Optics has signed Lando Norris and Kimi Antonelli. So I don't know what's happened to George Russell. He's just got rid of him. And he's got an all-new lineup at Mercedes. Ben, tell me, who have you picked up for season 2?
Well, me and Elite think alike, because I have also picked up Charles Leclerc. He just, stat-wise, he just seemed better than a choice like Antonelli. And we needed someone to fulfill like Hamilton's glory. He managed to win last season, pick up many podiums. We just thought, well, Antonelli's a rookie, he's young. We didn't think he was going to replicate that. And we're obviously aiming season 2 to do better. We don't want to go backwards. We just thought, this season, try Leclerc, see how he does. If he doesn't do as well, we may try Antonelli in season 3, possibly.
Possibly. Always leave that door open.
Yeah.
Is he alongside George Russell?
Yeah, kept George Russell. Give him another chance. I looked at many other people. Like, I did look at Verstappen, but he had like a 70 million buyout fee.
Yeah,
I don't really want to make the team bankrupt. Looked at Carlos Sainz. See, he joined. This is weird. This is the game's fault. I tried to sign Sainz. Red Bull offered him a better contract, and obviously I thought, he's not going to turn down Red Bull. They've just won both championships. Signed a deal with Red Bull. I go over to season 2, and he's a free agent.
What?
So they've obviously signed him for, you know what? No, and ripped off his contract, and now he's got no drive.
That sounds very
we can't
Red Bull.
sign him now. Yeah, we can't sign him now. It's a bit late. So
poor Carlos Sainz, just getting messed around by everybody. I on my original save, I'd actually signed Lando Norris, but then obviously restarting, I had to do that all over again. So I tried to sign Lando Norris. McLaren renewed his deal. They gave him a better offer, and he stuck with the Papaya team, and I ended up signing Théo Pourchaire instead, something that Justin also did. So 2 of us have signed Théo Pourchaire. Callum, who have you signed for season 2?
I wanted to sign Max, but like Ben said, I was not paying that much money. So I ended up going the same as Optics and going for Lando Norris.
I think he's a popular choice. I mean, I know when I looked at his scouting report, when he is enthusiastic on his mentality, he is also absolutely cracked in terms of his stats. The buffs that they get are just ridiculous. I mean, his cornering and his smoothness at like 100 is absolutely mad, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, as long as he gets good starts off the line, I'm sure he will probably win the championship.
It's a high possibility. Now, Ben, you mentioned the craziness of the driver market. Now, Justin had a bit of a glitch where Lewis Hamilton didn't end up signing for Ferrari, and then Red Bull pinched his Lewis replacement, which was Oscar Piastri, which is why he ended up signing Théo Pourchaire. Tell me about your season 2 sort of grid lineup.
Okay, right. So, obviously Hamilton has signed with Ferrari, and is, gone there. Red Bull have replaced Perez, and Perez has gone to the French team Alpine. We have obviously signed Charles Leclerc for the Mercedes team. A surprise move, Daniel Ricciardo has left the Red Bull family and has joined the Scarlet Red Ferrari.
Nice. Everyone wanted to see that back in the day.
Sargent has left Williams and has moved to Haas. Hulkenberg, like real life, has joined the Sauber team, hoping for Audi in 2026. Ocon has also left. He's left the French team Alpine and has joined Aston Martin. Obviously,
Nice.
hearing that Adrian Newey's going there, so he must have jumped on that ship. The surprising one. I told you that Science's contract got ripped up by Red Bull.
Yeah.
And they have signed Dennis Hauger to go alongside Max Verstappen.
What?
Which is surprising.
That's wild.
Paul Aron has joined Haas. Theo Porcher, 81 rated, has joined Sauber. And Liam Lawson has finally achieved his dream and has joined Aston Martin.
Callum, you mentioned to me before we started recording something that was quite funny to both of us about Fernando Alonso.
Yes, he decided to go to RB for some reason.
I love
I don't know what he thought about that. Maybe they're going to be the contenders for the championship. I don't know, but
do you reckon they signed Adrian Newey?
Probably.
he left Red Bull and went to V-Carb instead. Tell us the rest of your grid. Anything else surprising?
Well, apart from Van Dorn getting the Aston seat, Nico went back to Williams. Bottas went to McLaren to replace Lando. Well, what's not surprising is Stroll in the Aston.
Some things never change.
Daniel going to Williams and Yuki to Sauber. I think that's about it, to be honest, for mine.
Nice. So just before recording, I went through and found out what the grid was for my save. Originally, Lewis Hamilton ended up as a free agent, which was weird, and he's now ended up actually at Williams in mine. So he hasn't gone to Ferrari at all. And after all the hassle that I tried to get Lando Norris and McLaren supposedly renewing his contract, in my save, Lando Norris has signed for Haas. just let that sink in for a second. So, Lando Norris has joined Haas. So what else have we got that's standing out? Carlos Sainz went to Alpine. I still can't get over the fact that Lando's at Haas, which is just bonkers. Anything else interesting? Oh, instead of signing Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari signed Paul Aron. We're a big fan of Paul Aron at this channel, for obvious reasons. But yeah, Paul Aron in a Ferrari for my season 2. And Dennis Hauger replaces Lando Norris at McLaren for season 2. So yeah, we're getting some weird and wonderful driver moves for next season. Boys, thank you so much for joining me. What are your plans for season 2? What's the aim?
Probably to try and win a championship, I guess, and to win more races. Hopefully not be too slow.
Hopefully not be too slow. Callum, how do you top season 1?
Win every race, that's a simple answer.
Domination.
Try and keep Lewis not on the top spot and just keep that momentum really in season 2.
Excellent. Well, everyone who's watching this video, if you haven't submitted anything about your community save, tell us in the comments, and also rate your season out of 10 and let us know who you signed in the second Mercedes seat, and also any weird and wonderful driver moves for season 2. We want to hear all about it. My thanks to Callum and to Ben. I hope you enjoyed being part of the show, chaps.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No worries. And obviously, you guys are the best fans. We'll see you next time. It's bye for now.